This is going to be an interesting show when there's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. When there's already 19 messages in the chat before I hit go. So the New York Football Giants sign Russell Wilson. Dun, dun, dun. I didn't do a video yesterday. Or I didn't go online yesterday or go live yesterday because I wanted to think about it. I wanted to I wanted to kind of collect my thoughts because it's a big signing, but it's not. This is probably your last major move in free agency. Good morning, Strider. This is probably your last major move in free agency. This is a move that is probably going to exclude you from taking a quarterback at 3. And I keep seeing these things that people are like, well, if you don't love someone at 3, you can't, don't force the pick. And I'm not sure where this hate for Shedeur Sanders is all of a sudden coming from. He was going back to Troy State, he was the golden child. He was the golden boy. He had 2 good seasons in Colorado. Now all of a sudden he ain't worth shit. Why? What is the rationale now between not only some of the pundits but like certain Giant fans? Now Giant fans look at Shedeur Sanders and go, "That Shedeur Sanders, he's just a bum. I wouldn't take that guy." Well, for 2 years you drooled over him, and then there's a potential possibility that you could draft him, and now all of a sudden he's garbage. You go out and get Russell Wilson. I have no problem with the signing, but you got to say his full name according to his Twitter. It's Russell.
No. Danger's my middle name.
It's Danger Russell Wilson. I think in some regards Russell Wilson is more out of touch than Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston reposted his, hey, JJ, what's up? Jameis Winston reposted his W incident, him eating the W's on the sideline, which certain teammates in Tampa said was probably one of the weirdest, strangest, and most disturbing speeches on the sideline before a game that they had ever seen. But he's proud of it. Oh, look at me, I'm eating W's, blah, 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 blah. Okay. This is going to be fun. You're a Russell Wilson injury away from a Jameis Winston interception from Tommy DeVito playing. The line on the Giants was 3.5 wins. And normally, like I said, Vegas is their job is to make money. So the line before the Russell Wilson move was 3.5 wins. The line after the Russell Wilson move is 3.5 wins. We did a video, and we've said this a million times before. The Giants would rather be relevant than good. This is a clear-cut signal that the Giants think they can win this year. Oh, we can win this year. And, of course, if you take a look at Sports Illustrated, they did the top 32 rankings of the rosters. We've said it before. Carolina was 32, Cleveland 31, Giants 30. You still have issues on your offensive line. You don't know what Tyrone Tracy is going to be. You know teams are going to double up on Malik Neighbors. You still don't have a tight end. And you still have Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot, which is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And you are going to put a 36, 37-year-old quarterback who, in his last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, finished out the season 2-6, including the bad playoff loss versus Baltimore. I'm gonna say that again for the people in the cheap seats. He was 2-6. 2-6 isn't good. I'm just throwing out there. 2-6 is not good. You're also looking at a quarterback. I jotted down some notes. These are online Big Blues thoughts of Russell Wilson. I don't think he's ever fully recovered from that 2021 finger injury. because that really impacted how he grips the ball, and which then affects his throwing mechanics. I don't think he's ever fully recovered from that. I think you're looking at a guy that no longer has that. Ever since he got exposed by the Giants in that Joe Judge era, he doesn't have that same speed. He doesn't have that same athleticism. What's up, Big Mark? He doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have that anymore. He's no longer, if you watch him in Pittsburgh, going to extend plays. He's no longer going to escape the pressure. And when you put him behind a poor offensive line, it's going to be bad. This is also a guy that struggled and has struggled, going back to Nathaniel Hackett, in reference to learning new systems. He really has. He failed in that system. He failed in the Sean Payton system. He failed in the Steelers system, which was more of a quick read offense. He's no longer going to be able to freelance, and when he does, bad things happen. People talk about his elite deep ball throws. Oh, that deep ball accuracy. Well, okay. That accuracy has gone down exponentially over the years. And I think, like I said, I go back to the 2021 injury. I think it was the mallet finger injury, something like that. You change grip on the ball. You change grip on your mechanics. You have declining arm strength. What's going to happen? Your deep ball's not going to be there. And you're going to lollipop throws in MetLife. Fucking good luck with that one. And now, honestly, if you watched him in Pittsburgh, one of his biggest issues was he held on to the ball way too damn long. He seems to be struggling with reading certain defenses now, which leads to a lot of missed opportunities. He struggled with his anticipation throws last year. Look at that. Think about that. And then we're also going to talk about his locker room. And we talk about Jameis Winston being that fun guy. Hey, look at me, I'm that fun guy. Okay, well, Russell Wilson has reportedly had issues in the locker room in Seattle and Denver. We didn't really get a lot out of Pittsburgh because Tomlin runs a tight ship. So when you're not a locker room guy and you're having locker room issues, there's a problem. And honestly, with his decline in age and his reliability on certain tendencies, the league is just adjusted. It's easy now to defend a Russell Wilson than it was 5 years ago. The problem with Giant fans is they think they're getting Russell Wilson from 5-6 years ago. You're getting last year's Russell Wilson. You're getting 2-6 Russell Wilson. You're getting a guy who can barely complete 63% of his passes. Big ol' Mark Stroh with the super chat says, "Salute, Tim. Who you got? Hunter or pass rusher?" That's the thing. I'm not taking Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter does not make any sense. He's not an outside linebacker. He was an off-the-ball linebacker for 2 years at Penn State who got moved to defensive end when they figured out his quickness could get around slower tackles. He's not going to be able to use his speed. He's not. Because of the fact that you're going to go up against tackles that are bigger, stronger, and faster. And we noticed when he got hurt and he hurt his shoulder, which is he's still rehabbing the shoulder, and there's still some issues with the foot. When he did not have that little shoulder dip that he likes to use, he got pushed to the ground. He had his one sack in that bowl game, but then after that he was nothing because they took him out of the plays. I said it before. He's O'Shane Ximines. O'Shane Ximines, 5.5 sacks his rookie season, came out of Old Dominion after a 10.5 sack season. Really showed a burst of speed and quickness. Well, you could do that in college, but once that rolls around outside of college, you're not going to be able to get away with that. He's not Parsons. Everyone can see, well, he wears 11. Okay, great. I'm gonna go put on a number 7 jersey so I could be so I could be John Elway. And then then the other question is Travis Hunter. Okay, you have Malik Neighbors. You just re-signed Darius Slayton to second level WR2 receiver money. And like I said, Travis Hunter, to me, his best position is going to be defensive back. But the problem with that is you also just went out, you drafted Banks, you drafted Phillips, and you just signed Adebo. So where does he fit? Where's Travis Hunter fit? I'm not saying he's going to be an Isaiah Simmons, but I've already said that Travis Hunter to me has bust written all over him. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a derogatory. Like I said, I guess it only really comes out as a derogatory name, but he's got bust written all over him because I don't think positionally, if he gets into a organization like the Giants that want to use him in different ways, it's only going to hurt his career. So I really don't know which direction you go with that. The Giants are in this conundrum. Cleveland is already talking about now they're willing to move 2. Are the Giants just not sold on going for Shedeur Sanders? We saw the pro day for Cam Ward. Very impressive. But we said it before, the pro days are just basically scripted ballets. You help play to your strengths and you try to hide your deficiencies. I always go back to Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel's pro day, if anyone remembers, he did his pro day in shorts, pads, and a helmet. Why? Because he wanted to look bigger. He wanted to give this impression that he was bigger than he was. Turned out he wasn't, but that's the impression that he wanted to give. So you go out and you get a Russell Wilson. Does this move the needle on the win-loss record? Well, according to Vegas, no. According to Vegas, doesn't do shit. Doesn't do jack or shit, and Jack left town. You put an aging, declining, not immobile, but diminished mobility Russell Wilson behind a bad offensive line. You shut down Tyrone Tracy. And you have him making another switch. And like I said, he has not thrived really offensively outside of Pete Carroll. The Nathaniel Hackett thing was just a fucking disaster. Even with Sean Payton, fucking disaster. For a guy that is a Hall of Famer, a golden jacket guy. I'm going to say it again. The last 8 games with Pittsburgh, he went 2-6. There was talk, even in the locker room at one point in time, that they did not agree with some of the players benching Justin Fields. He was 4-2 and very likable in the locker room. So you're going to bring in a guy that's got a little bit of a metrosexual thing to him that's probably going to turn some teammates off, that he's not going to be that Eli Manning locker room guy. He's already had problems in the locker room in Seattle, Denver. And we don't know if he had problems, like I said, in Pittsburgh, but he's already had issues in the locker room, and you're going to bring this guy in with Jameis Winston, who's a fun guy. Oh, I'm a fun guy, who also throws a lot of fucking interceptions. You look at this and you say the Giants are just trying to be relevant. Because you're going to be back in the quarterback hunt in 2026. And then people are like, well, Tim, we'll just take Jackson Dart in the second round. Oh yeah, that's idiocy wrapped in stupidity. And like I said, you could tell Joe Schoen no. Literally his staff could tell Joe, no, do not take Jackson Dart. But Joe Schoen.
The word, sir? The word is no. I am therefore going anyway.
That's Joe Schoen. Nope, you don't think I should do it? I'm going to do it anyway. Said it before. What do you need? 2 linebackers and a defensive tackle. What about Brian Burns? And now you go out and get an aging quarterback. I love it. He spells his names with an X. Jackson Dart spells his name with X. So, I mean, he's going to, Jackson Dart's going to be, you spell your name with an X, you're going to be fucking good. OGR Sports sent me something today, and this is from Madge, and we know what this is going to be.
Stupid giant Twitter posts.
Oh, that's a good one from Madge. The Madge. In hindsight, the Giants winning the Colts game might have been the best thing for them. I know some will disagree with that. That's fine, but missing out on the top two quarterbacks in this draft, ultimately landing a Super Bowl winning starter and a former number 1 pick is theirs. Oh dear fucking Lord. Oh fuck. Dear. For the love of God. Okay, a failed overall number 1 pick and an aging, declining quarterback on his 3rd team in 3 years. I tell you, he should have called Mello. Mello wanted to come here. Lala wanted to come here. Then they get divorced. So I don't know if Sierra's going to be sticking around very much longer. This reeks of desperation. This reeks of a hit the like button. This reeks of a general manager, head coach just trying to save their ass. And then I love it because people are like, well, he could still take quarterback at 3. Why? You have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. And you're really going to sit baby Neon for an entire season? You could have did that in year 1, but you're in year 4. Joe Shane is trying to matriculate as many wins as he can right now. But the problem is this: you can only squeeze your signings outside of Holland and Adebo were 2nd, 3rd, 4th line players. And some of these guys that were going to be 3rd or 4th or 5th day free agents, you signed day 1. Yeah, because everyone was going to go out and get CJ Board. Everyone was going to run out and get Board. Everyone was like, we need that fucking Board guy. We need that special teams impact player. I love it because I think of the movie A Christmas Story. And the dad is sitting around the table, and the Sox just traded Bulldog. And he was the only guy that they got for 4 high Schaffner. And I left because he goes, we got a whole goddamn team of utility infielders. Giants have a whole team outside of maybe 6 guys, 7 guys of backups. And their thought process was, we lost. We only won 3 games last year because we didn't have depth. The problem is when your depth pieces are not as even close to being as good as your starters, that's the way it should be. There should be a disparaging. There should be a discrepancy. You should have your good stars and you should have your depth pieces. But the problem is when your depth pieces are as good as your starters, we got problems. We got problems on multitudes of fronts. You're going to hope that all of a sudden McFadden stops missing tackles. You can hope that Bobby Carrick all of a sudden figures out how to fit into the system. You're going to hope that Tay Banks can figure out how to play in Shane Bowen's system when he's more of a wink guy. You're going to hope that you literally signed a press man-to-man corner and a Debo, and he's going to fit in the Shane system. You're going to hope that Holland's going to turn around and have a better season than he had last year in Miami. You're going to hope that the Ghost Brothers are going to be able to figure out how to maintain the edge in their assignments and hold the run and actually get to the pass rush and get to the quarterback. You can hope that teams aren't going to continuously shy away from the middle of the field because they know they can run to the outside. You're going to hope you're going to find 3 outside linebackers. You're going to hope you're going to find a true tackle and maybe 2 true guards and not an undersized center and a tight end and a running back that we can't just rely on Tyler and Tracy because we have no idea what it's going to be. And you're going to hope, like I said, you're going to have to find that tight end and your quarterback situation is going to maintain itself and your offensive line's not going to be a open wound. You hope and I'll hurry. You go through all do that. Russell Wilson's a great signing. So now what you're going to do is you're going to shy away. And people are already saying, well, we'll just grab Arch in 2026. The Mannings stay 4 years. There is a precedent. The Mannings literally stay 4 years. What's up, Mr. Bruce? The Mannings literally stay 4 years. Arch is not coming out to like 20. He's probably not coming out to 2027. And we don't even know what Archie Manning is. I followed up on a post yesterday because I guess Texas has some spring practices, and they were showing this guy's like, oh, look at that Archie Manning. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick next year. He couldn't beat out Quinn. He couldn't beat out the mighty Quinn. And I had to point out to everyone, does everyone remember Chris Sims, who was like the number 1 quarterback prospect in the country coming out of Jersey, went to Texas, couldn't beat out Major Applewhite, had an okay career in Texas and was taken the 2nd round with Tampa. He was never a 1st-round pick. And I think Tampa reached that year as well. You just signed Russell Wilson to be relevant, and you push this quarterback clock back again. I've already said this before. Outside of Ward and Sanders, this is the Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis draft. This is it. You have 2 guys, and that's it. The rest of the guys are garbage. And I'm sorry. I sit there and I look at these guys, and I shouldn't say they're garbage. They're guys that are going to be backups, maybe spot starters. But we got Russell Wilson and we got Jameis Winston. I love it now. Our quarterback room is just, what's up, Daryl? Our quarterback room is just awesome now. We're fucking awesome. You got an aging Russell Wilson, a bad Jameis Winston, Tommy DeVito, and you're probably not going to take Shedeur Sanders, even if he's there at 3. And then I love the people. I mean, like I said, I honestly thought going through some of the pundits yesterday that there was going to be more love for this signing. There are so many people that are talking heads from multitudes of media sources outside of giant content creators, because giant content creators don't know their ass from their elbows, that are like, this just doesn't do anything. It literally, if anything, this may potentially hinder the franchise more than it's going to help. Oh, let's get to this, chat. You mean Winston was already benched? Winston already threw an interception, Dennis. All those tens of thousands of screaming fans that brought Winston jerseys are now going to be pissed. Well, you get, I think it's on NFL Shop. You got that number assurance thing. So Red, what does Red Thunder say? Which one spots the ball in PATs? You're gonna use the Scottish Hammer. Is going to be doing that. The Scottish Hammer will be doing that. James Stein says, look like we will not draft the top 2 quarterbacks. So our quarterback room is Wilson, Winston, and DeVito. Oh, for the love of God. Toasts are screwed. I've seen bad seasons coming. I see a bad season. I see a bad season coming with the Giants. I do. I see a bad season coming. It's coming. It's coming around the bend. Like I said, you are a Russell Wilson injury away from a Jameis Winston interception and a Jameis Winston interceptions to the fact that Tommy DeVito might play. You did this to be relevant now. You did this to show your fan base, look, we went out and got you a Super Bowl winner, former first-round pick, and Tommy DeVito. I watched that Cam Ward Pro Day. And I was like, yikes, man. You watched a lot of the pro days last year, and you were just like, what was Joe thinking? You know, when Jerry Reese and Gelman and others shied away from ever drafting or signing an outside linebacker because that just wasn't their modus operandi, you were like, okay, well, it is what it is. But Joe Schoen just shies away from good quarterbacks. I think that he doesn't have hair enough on his balls to literally draft a quarterback because he doesn't want to be wrong. Because Joe Schoen is always, you know, people say I'm a genius, but how can you screw up 5 and 7? You screwed up real good, Joe. You screwed up real good. And I think he's afraid to take a quarterback. I really do think he has that fear in him. Like Ricky Bobby said, Ricky Bobby's dad said, I bet you got to drive with the fear. But the problem was Joe Schoen, he's just got to nut up. He's just sitting there watching Rome burn again, probably another 4 or 5 win season. Telling you all is well. Petro says, I don't think we take a quarterback this year either. Let's hear it, Tim. Let's hear it for the boys. Speak the truth. I'm trying. Hey, Skyline says, what's up, everyone? Peter said, how you doing, good sir? Strider says, good morning. What's up? That's Strider. Zach Wilson 5 years ago would have been a great move. I agree. You're not getting Zach Wilson 5-6 years ago. You're getting Denver / Pittsburgh / a year older Russell Wilson. Hell, I might have taken Zach Wilson. And people are like, well, who would you have taken? Somebody said I would have gone Justin Fields. I would have gone like some Marcus Mariota. I would have gone someone that I would have known for sure would be a stopgap because was going to move heaven or earth to get a quarterback. And like I said, I'm going to have to do a video tomorrow about why the hate now on Shedeur Sanders. For 3 years, how we heard he's gonna be the number 1 overall pick. He's gonna be this. He's gonna be that. He could do this. He could do that. Now I hear. Well, you know what? He holds the ball too long. He holds the ball too long as he's waiting downfield for Travis Hunter to get open. And he takes too many sacks. He tries to be a hero. He's cocky. Wow, my quarterback tries to be a hero. He takes too many sacks because he's looking downfield trying to make the big play, and he's cocky. I don't want that fucking guy. I don't want that guy. I want Russell Danger Wilson. And if you watch some of his videos and some of his things, yikes. We got ourselves the metrosexual quarterback. I miss Phil Simms. The Wilson sign is literally proof. Joe Shane is at least 1 year behind the NFL. He's more than 1 year behind the NFL. My question, Strider says, do we still? No, we don't draft a quarterback at 3. That would be, like, to be honest, start off the year with 3 quarterbacks that don't know. That sounds stupid. Yeah, it does sound stupid because you are not going to sit baby Dion an entire year to play behind Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and then have baby Dion number 3 on the depth chart. All you're doing is stunting the kid's growth. You got to play him. You would have to play him, but now you have a crowded quarterback room. Not a good crowded quarterback room, but you now have a crowded quarterback room. David says what it means. They might have a plan. Joe Shane presented the at the end of last season, but that wasn't it. Prediction 6 wins. Shane and Daboll. I still say Shane and Daboll were fired by Thanksgiving. My only quarterback is Cam Ward. Giants Twitter called him Daniel Jones 2.0. I thought about this, and this is why I put it on the headline. Is the room of Winston Wilson better than Jones Locke? I don't think it is. I think it's the same. You got a skittish quarterback who barely completes 60% of his passes, who went 2-6 last year on a good Pittsburgh team, and Russell Wilson playing the role of Daniel Jones. And then you have Jameis Winston, who everyone loves that is going to be that cult hero, is playing the role of Tommy DeVito. What's up, JJ? What's up, Tim? I still hope we draft quarterback and have a great day. I hope that we do, Tim, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. Mr. Roberts says, hey, Tim, I like Russell, but yeah, you should have drafted Michael. You should have drafted Michael Penix. You should have traded back, drafted Michael Penix, joined back into the first round, got a Ladd McConkey, a Brian Thomas Jr., or hell, even a Keenan Coleman. You would have parts of your offense fixed. But in one of the deepest quarterback drafts since 2004 and 83, we don't take the bat off the shoulder. Wilson wins to Tommy DeVito's beat last year's trio, but doesn't solve any issues. Curious for the draft. I'm curious for the draft too, my 2 cents. What's up, Big Mark? What's up, Joby? Good morning. This team isn't ready. We need more pieces. Taking on a cheap rookie quarterback. Not yet. Here's the problem, Joby. I'm going to explain this. I'm going to explain the problem to you. If you never take a quarterback and you never have someone to build, someone to maturate, someone to groom into a quarterback position, someone to, take you to the next level, you're going to be stuck every year trying to find a Russell Wilson. And that's not a good thing. The problem is we got spoiled from 16 years of Eli Manning and 14 from Phil Simms. You got spoiled for almost 30 years of 2 quarterbacks. We're the Jets. We are literally the fucking Jets. Tim says, sure, I want a quarterback. It's not Hunter or Carter or trade back. What's up, Herbologist says, hey, Tim Big Buffon, smash that like button on the way. Giant content creators now think we're a playoff team. I'm not even going to look at giant content creators because literally that would probably make my fucking head explode. And these are the same morons that some of them live in the tri-state area and don't even have season tickets or go to the games. I don't have season tickets anymore because I was just like, I'm done. I'm not gonna keep paying for crap. I'm done paying for crap. I can go out in my backyard and pick up crap all day from my dogs. I don't need to pay for it. Petro says, I don't think any quarterback got this offseason will bring us to the playoffs. With our schedule next year, we're screwed from the jump. I prefer adding more building blocks from a rookie quarterback in the future. People need to realize we do not. That's the other thing. We do not have. Carter Coughlin exposed Russell Wilson 4 years ago. We're not getting that guy. Underthrows balls. He does underthrow balls. You're right. I still think he is suffering from that 2021 injury. I still personally think that with Russell Wilson. I still think he had what was the mallet finger injury, which impacts your grip, which then changes throwing mechanics. And they say these types of injuries have lingering effects for years. And I still think that's one of the issues that he's still having. Stanley says, hey, Tim, Russell Wilson struggles in the second half of the season because George Pickens got hurt. Steelers ain't had other dominant wide receivers, plus Arthur Smith was calling too many run plays. You know why you're calling, Stanley, you know why you're calling too many run plays? Because you don't trust your quarterback. That's the reason why. Mr. Taz, Eagles. Tim, you need to eat your shoe. You said the Giants would not sign Russell Danger Wilson. I'm not going to eat a shoe. I just thought they weren't going to be stupid. I was actually giving Joe Shane the benefit of the doubt that he wasn't a fucking moron. Well, he proved me right again. Or wrong again, I should say. Stratus says, I remember hearing rumors that Denver, he wanted his own office or something, like Sean Payton. Pretty much at F off. Hell no. But his teammates like him, much like him. That's the other thing. His teammates did not like him. The rumor was he wore out his welcome in Seattle. He wore out his welcome in Denver. He was not a good locker room guy. Ryan says, hey, Tim, these fools got Wilson because he's desperation is setting in and trying to save both their jobs with another wasted season. Well, they're going to win 6 games, be 6-11, and go, see, we need year 5 now because we're building something, even though we don't have a quarterback. Correction. I'm hoping we still trade back. I still think this draft is a 10. To me, this draft is a top 10 draft. After the top 10 guys, it's a crapshoot. You get these drafts. You get these drafts every so often. You're going to have maybe top 10 guys are going to have, that impactful talent. Then after that, you got some starters. Then after that, you got your backups. And that's what this draft is. It happens. It happens in the NBA all the time. You get bad drafts. This is a bad draft. I've already said I would move on to 2026. But Tim, he can go around Evan Neal. Don't worry, Evan Neal's going to be a guard. What's up, Greg? Oh, wait. Everyone goes around Evan Neal. Evan Turnstile Neal. Oh, Tim does not want Jackson Darts, which obviously means Joe. That's the other thing that's funny. You're 100% right. That obviously means Joe Shane's just going to fucking take Jackson Dart. Mr. Alvarez says, I'm tired of the build the team before you bring in a rookie argument because you have the mid quarterback with a good team might get you the Super Bowl, and then you possibly play yourself out of a solid rookie. Here's the problem. You have a mid quarterback on a good team. You're not going to the Super Bowl. You have the moments where like Joe Flacco won with superior team around him. You have the same thing with Trent Dilfer won with superior team around him. Same thing with Brad Johnson with superior team around him. But those are too far and few in between. You have to have a superior team. You have to have a lights out fucking defense like they had in Baltimore and Tampa for that to happen. What does Greg said? Russell Wilson has always struggled to see the middle of the field, even in his prime, and that's only gotten worse with his mobility has declined. I agree. Travis Hunter is like Deebo Samuel situation with 49ers using him a wide receiver running back, and it destroyed his body. But the problem is with Deebo Samuel, you could still use a guy as a both running back and a wide receiver. You look like Darren Sproles. They should do that with Wanda Robinson, but we're not smart enough to do that. The problem is you got a guy that plays both sides of the ball. Listen, there was a post yesterday on X and this post was top wide receivers in New York Giants history. And I loved it because I had to respond because this guy's list was Cruz, Toomer, Burris, Beckham, Nix, Hilliard, Shepard, Baker, Callaway, Darius Slayton. I had to mention to this guy that you had Frank Gifford. You had Del Schaffner, who was the first Giant to go over 1,000 yards in a season. You had Homer Jones, who was basically Odell Beckham before Odell Beckham, and also the inventor of the spike. You had what's his name? You had what's his name? Kyle. I can't remember Kyle's last name, but he's another guy. He's also in the Ring of Honor. So and I love it because Del Schaffner is a all decades team for the '60s at wide receiver. First Giant wide receiver to get 1,000 yards. And I love it because Frank Gifford mainly played halfback. He only had one season of wide receiver. Well, okay. And then I had to explain to him that because, sometimes you just have to explain stuff. From 1950 to 1963, there were only 33 men on the active roster. After 1963, the roster was expanded to 38. So you doubled up on positions. So Frank Gifford also played wide receiver when he was playing running back as well. But again, we don't want facts. We just want fiction. What's Phil say? Joe Shane loves to fix last year's problems instead of going after this year's problems. That's a good one. Asme says, by the time Neighbors is in his third year in the league, he'll have played with about 6 different quarterbacks. That's some serious vision. Your vision was to get Neighbors to fix Daniel Jones. You got rid of Daniel Jones mid-season. Now you're bringing these other quarterbacks to fix Malik Neighbors, who for some unknown reason, outside the last 3 games of the year, could not get a yak to save his life. Mr. Chaz says, I'm convinced the last few years have been Russell Wilson played his way out of the Hall of Fame because he failed at every place outside the Legion of Boom cover. You know what? That's actually a good point. If you want to say Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer, Russell Wilson's definitely not a Hall of Famer then. Definitely not a Hall of Famer. Ask me, did you say Larry Fitzgerald? I didn't see that. By the time he spells his name with an X instead of. Greg says, I think someone in the Giants organization knows Shane is a bad poker player and signed a Russell Wilson bluff either to trade up for Cam or to get Shador Sanders at 3. Come on, people off Broadway says, hit the fucking like. Hit the like. You got 32 likes. That's not terrible. We've only been on for 34 minutes. That's not bad. Off Broadway. What's up, Broadway? Todd says, Shane is the GM to save his career, desperately trying to win 6. That's the thing. I think I think the Giants are desperately Afghanistan, baby. What's up? I think the Giants are desperately trying to win 6. I do think that. That is a great point. I think they're trying to win 6 to save his job for next year, but not sit there and say, we're going to get better. We're just going to win 6. We're going for 1. Oh my God. Wow, we got a lot in the chat today. We got, Afghanistan, baby. Oh, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. Sorry, Craig. The Skins are better than us. We say the Pigeons are coming down to earth, but they never seem to happen. And we keep strengthening the roster. There's Dallas, who totally owns us. Well, first going, Afghanistan, baby. Oh, yeah. How's it going? Haven't seen you in a long time. Philadelphia's just retooling. Philadelphia's not even retooling. Philadelphia, outside of these moves, is going to be back. They're going to be back at the playoffs. Washington is better than us. Dallas has owned us since Dak showed up. I don't think we're winning a game in the division again. Maybe we win 1. Maybe we get lucky and win 1, but I still think we're not winning a game at home. I think we're going to reverse it like last year. Last year we won 1 game at home and none of the division. I don't think we're winning a game at home, and I think we'll win 1 game in the division. Kyle Roeder. Thank you. I couldn't think. Off Broadway. What does Lou have to say? Good morning, Tim. Just a question. Can they possibly sign Winston or Wilson to trade in order to move up? Can they? I don't think here's the thing. I don't think you sign these guys. I don't think you sign Russell Wilson. I don't think you sign Jameis Winston. I don't think you keep Tommy DeVito because you're bringing in another quarterback this year. I don't see it. And if you did that, it makes even less sense. Because what? You're giving Russell Wilson 13. You have $22 million in dead cap space. Let's say Russell Wilson hits his 13, gets his 13 million. So, so now you have 35 million in cap. You have a $35 million quarterback cap number. You gave another $4 million to Jameis Winston. So that's 34 million. That you now have 38 million, another 2 million to Tommy DeVito. You got $40 million right now invested in your quarterback room, including the $22 million dead cap number with Daniel Jones. Can you really bring in another quarterback and then have them sit the entire year? I don't see it. What's up, Massey? A-Rod was clear the Giants' number 1 choice, and when he got turned down, they were screwed, so they had to go with their second and first discount. I just don't get the Aaron Rodgers thing. Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to go to Pittsburgh now because Pittsburgh is in desperation for a quarterback. Yeah, hold on. They're in desperation mode for a quarterback. They're 100%. The problem is this. I mean, like I said, you are literally looking at this. You are literally looking at this situation, thinking to yourself, we and even getting Aaron Rodgers doesn't move the needle. It doesn't move the needle. I don't get what people think, and I'm not saying you must, but I don't get what people think that was going to even move the needle either. Aaron Rodgers is going to be 2 years removed from his Achilles, and I've said this before. Well, go back and watch the lineage of players who have had torn Achilles that 2 years later get a torn ACL. Petro asked the question, can you put up the schedule and go through the teams who actually have a chance of winning? Let's go to the home schedule real quick. You got Dallas. Maybe. So that's one. Washington, no. This is the home. Eagles, no. Green Bay, no. Vikings, no. Kansas City, no. Chargers, no. 49ers, no. Away, Dallas, no. Philadelphia, no. Washington, no. Bengals, no. Broncos, no. Lions, no. Raiders, maybe. Saints, maybe. Patriots, no. So it's a 3-win team. We're looking at 3 wins again. But don't worry, it might bump up to 4 if we get. I don't know. Afghanistan says, good to see you, Tim. Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Where you been hiding? Jester says, I'm here. I'm ready for the realness. Carter, no, I can't take Carter. I can't take a guy that I got 2 guys identical on each side of the line that can't play the run. I'm going to put in a third guy? No, I can't have the 3 guys that do the exact same thing. I can't, because then I would have to add another one.
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
And then people are like, well, take Mason Graham, the running rate. Oh, it'll be a destructive defensive line. It was supposed to be a destructive defensive line last year when we had Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau. And now you got to still pick. Guys, we're still waiting to pick up that $16 million option for next year, because it's got to be picked up this year for Kayvon Thibodeau. You're not picking up the 5th year for Evan Neal, but you have to decide whether it's worth, before the season, whether it's worth picking up $16.1 million on Kayvon Thibodeau. What does Will say? Come on, man. This team is better. Let's make a Brett, bro, $50. All right, I'll bet you $100. Come on, Will. You know what? You know what they always say? Nut up or shut up. A grand. I bet you $1,000 the Giants are not an 8-win team. Come on, Willie. You want to play with the big boys. You want to run with the Bulls. $50. Fuck that. $1,000. You want to do it?
Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You want to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, baby? It's going to cost you a G. What day? What is today? What is today? We are looking at 11:43 on March 26th. Right now, Willie. A G. Giants are not an 8-win team. And that's what I always tell people. You want to come correct. Let's not do it. Let's not do it like little boys. Let's do it right.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome.
You want to step in the Thunderdome? Come correct. $50. $50 doesn't even put money. $50 doesn't even put gas in my truck. Oh wait, can't forget the center. You mean the center who's undersized, who gave up the most sacks in the NFL by a center? And last year had the most, 2 years ago had the most penalties by a center? That guy? Stanley says, hey, Tim, would you be in favor of the Giants draft? No, Mason Graham. We don't need Mason Graham. You don't need a Mason Graham. If you're going to not take if you're not going to take a quarterback at 3, take an offensive lineman. Trade back. If you don't feel there's an offensive lineman, trade back and get an offensive lineman. You're not going to get redundancy for Dexter Lawrence. And the people are like, we're going to have a line like Philadelphia. Do you know how Philly built their line? Not you, Stan. I'm not yelling at you. But do you remember how Philadelphia built their line? Do you remember that? We talked about this before. Philadelphia retooled with Mitchell, DeJean, Carter, Smith, Davis, Juergens, Smith, Dickerson. The first Jaylen was sucks, and the second Jaylen. You draft well. They whiffed on one pick since 2020 in the first two picks. That's what you do. You knew we're going to build this destructive line, but the problem is if you get into the second level, you're fucked, and people are still going to understand just run off tackle. Getting someone like Mason Graham does not fix the issue that you can't stand up, but you can't stop anybody on the outside. The Commanders only beat us because we had no kicker. And whose fault was that? The Eagles. I love them. I just love Giant fans, Craig. The Eagles are coming back to earth. I love it because people are like, the Eagles aren't going to be a dynasty. They've gone to 3 Super Bowls in 7 years and won 2. We've had 3 winning seasons in 14 years, 2 playoff appearances. They beat us, went from Singletary fumble and a neighbor's drop. So, going back to that logic, we basically shouldn't have been in the playoffs that 9-7-1 season because we got beat. We won on a missed field goal. The Jaguar game, we only won because we stopped them at the 1, and there was 2 interceptions by Daniel Jones called back on bad penalties. See how you got to remember, guys, this works both ways. Wasn't Homer Jones? Homer Jones did have a 1,000-yard season. He's also inventor of the spike. He was Odell Beckham before Odell Beckham was Odell Beckham. We had better weapons than Russ had last year in Pittsburgh, bottom line. You got Malik Neighbors. Wan'Dale Robinson is 5 yards in a cloud of dust. And I love this thing. I love this thing with Darius Slayton. I love this thing with Darius Slayton. All of a sudden now is the second coming of OBJ. He dropped so many passes over the last 2 years that I had to hear about, people complain about, but now all of a sudden he's really good. We can convince ourselves into anything. Frank McNair is rolling in his grave. I didn't get murdered by Concrete Charlie. Chuck McNair. For the Giants to become this. People don't forget that Frank Giver got knocked into retirement by Philadelphia Eagles. I always loved the name Concrete Charlie. And that's why when he came back, that's why he had to switch over to flanker. The Eagles are coming back to earth. They just kicked the shit out of the best team in the AFC. But as a Giant fan, we have to disparage other teams. And watch this. I saw this. I saw this on Twitter. Swear to God, Jayden Daniels isn't that good. Kind of glad we didn't get him. You see how slight a build he is? He's not that good. He's going to come back to earth. When you've been so bad for 14 years, you need to convince yourself that you're going to be good. My 2 cents. Our starting quarterback is on the third team in 4 years. Oh, dear Lord. Thank you, my 2 cents. Our starting quarterback is on his third team in 4 years. His backup is on his third team in 3 years. We are the Jets. Peter says, I'm shocked if we win 5 games. I'm shocked as well. I am shocked as well. Strider says, I don't know who our starting right guard is, but I can't give it to Evan Neal. Too risky to have. He has to earn it. Who's your starting tackle? And technically, who's your starting other guard? And technically, can you really sit there and tell me that JMS is going to get better when he's only gotten worse? You're undersized at center. You brought in 2 guys. One guy's a swing tackle who, if you look at the venerable Pro Football Focus, has terrible rankings. Same with the other guy. I mean, you brought in all these backup guys that are not, or it's not that they're not as good, but they're on the same level as the backup guys that we have starting. I said it before. It's the venerable James Williams after a Debo and Holland called me up.
Ricky Vaughn, Willie Hayes. I never heard of most of them. Mitchell Friedman? Who are these fucking guys?
But don't worry, we're going to build a six-wing team. We're going to build a six-wing team. Stanley says, with Russell Wilson a quarterback, the Giants will be better than the Dallas Cowboys, but they still have a long ways to go to catch the Eagles and the Commanders. If Dak comes back, no. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Petra says, can we put up a schedule? I already put up the schedule and did that. Mr. Alvarez says, oh, Tim, Russell's cap is worse than that. If he hits his incentives, it will take it up to $21 million, so they better bench him at some point to protect the cap space. People forget you also need like $12 million cap space for your rookie class. Now, the problem is you don't need that full 12. Not the problem. The issue is what people don't understand is you don't need that full 12. You only need the guaranteed money for your first and your second round pick and part of your third. Then the rest of it's not guaranteed, so it only counts against the rule of 51 until they're on the roster. So we're still going to need money for the draft pool too. Tim, what would you draft pick now that we signed Russell Wilson? I would burn it. I still say this, send a third rounder to Howie Rosen and said, hey, Howie and Philly, can you draft our first round pick first, please? If you want to trade it and then draft someone, please do it. Like I said, if you're going to stay at 3 and you're not taking a quarterback, you got to take an offensive lineman. Because of the fact that you can't take a redundant defensive. If you're going to trade Dexter Lawrence, you take Mason Graham. If you're going to trade one of the Ghost brothers, you go for the dual Carter. But all you're doing is drafting a replacement for a guy you moved on from. And I don't even know if that guy's better. Hey, we might get the Niners if they all go on the IR game. That's a possibility. Carter plays linebacker too. He doesn't play linebacker. He was an off-the-ball linebacker his first 2 years at Penn State, and they moved him to defensive end. He was average as an off-the-ball linebacker. Average. They only decided they could use his speed on the defensive end position, which is why he's being listed as a defensive end. Please trade Tibbs for anything. Johnny Wishbone reporting for Dooney. Mr. Belfort, I didn't see you. Everyone just wait a minute. Oh, my God. You know, this would be so much easier if I wrote this shit down, wouldn't it? Because there's like 400 sound effects on this fucking board now. And I can't find what I'm looking for. I can't find Johnny. I got to find Johnny Wishbone, which is interesting because it just says Wishbone, so it should be easy to find. But how far back does it go? I mean, that's, I'm already in the 70s. Oh, there we go.
I'm Johnny Wishbone, psychic extraordinaire. If you need me, just think Johnny Wishbone, and I come running.
You don't need to re-sign Kayvon. You have to pick up the 5th-year option. I'm not re-signing Kayvon. He hasn't shown me anything. He hasn't showed me enough to be worth $16.1 million. Mr. Taz says, well, there goes all the alleged cap space Giant fans were bragging about all season. And don't worry, you got a Debo, who we hope he comes back from his broken leg. And you have Holland and a bunch of if guys. Peter says, I'm willing to give my life savings. This team doesn't win 8 games. A grand. A grand. And where'd Willie go? Where'd the Big Willie style go? He wanted to bet $50. You come into the Thunderdome, let's drop a grand. Let's drop a G. None of this $50 shit. You have confidence in your team, then you do it right. 8 wins. We'll be lucky to get 3. Mark Sims. What's up, Mark Sims? I'd be shocked if there was more than 5. We win 5 games. I would agree. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? We already played that sound effect. Yeah, we're a little behind in the chat. Big Greg says, William, I put my house on the line. No shot. The Giants win 8 games. Not a chance. I put up a grand. Greg put up his house. Where did Willie go? Where did Big Willie style go? He was coming up in here all jiggy with it. Get jiggy with it. And Willie disappeared like the regular Will Smith. Timothy says, although I thought I'd be throwing away my money, I would put me down for $1,000. See, look at everyone thinks everyone. Strider says, Giant fans worry about themselves because you are always coming back down to earth, guys. Relax. I agree. David says, Giant fans are funny. We screwed up one play, and that's literally the reason we lost because the other team didn't screw up against us. We got the bad call, so we missed an opportunity. Nope, never. That's the thing with Giant fans I love. You guys are, someone was talking about it earlier. Well, if this hadn't happened, this would happen, we would have won that game. Well, okay, if Tennessee doesn't miss the field goal, go back to fucking Daniel Jones' first game. If they don't miss Jameis Winston drives down the field, they don't miss the field goal, they lose that game. Does the legend of Daniel Jones then get soured and we never see him again? Titans in that winning season, they don't miss that field goal, they win the game. We don't stop Jacksonville at the 1, and the refs don't blow 2 bad calls against Daniel Jones on interceptions that they call back that he threw. We win that. We lose that game. So already now we're down to 7 wins. They finished. I've said this before a million times, Tide. You know that 7-2, 2-5-1. That's it. And we were there during the tie. Big L and I were there in the tunnel. I have the video. I played the video somewhere in that Washington game. Giants were just heading into overtime, and Joe Shane ran down, I guess, from upstairs through the tunnel to get onto the field. That if you're facing, if you're on the Giants sideline, and you're facing out towards the midfield. The tunnel is on, the tunnel is in the goal line on that far right side. He ran down there to watch the last half. And they didn't trust Daniel Jones enough to throw the ball in the entire fourth quarter or overtime. When the game was a tie, he came running back upstairs, and I got it on video, him saying, I can't believe we fucking lost this game. Well, that was your quarterback, Joe. Ryan says, Tim, sorry to say it, but we have some fans who are here and falling in love with a Wilson trap, just what they did with one. They're all delusional. It's fine, Ryan. It's fine. You know what? Because that's why we're here. We are here to have an intelligent conversation. Douglas says, hey, Tim, I hope Ross can cook at least cook on egg. Oh, crap. Ellie Moore. We got Ellie Moore FUD. Don't worry, we'll be fine. Pedro says, the problem is it's been so bad. We looked at other teams that come up with excuses as why they're bad. Time to take a look into the mirror and realize we are a joke and can't say that because we blow ass. That's the problem, though. We have to disparage other teams. Our ineptitude leads us not to being fans of football, but to be hatred, for unblinding hatred to other teams that are better than us. The only problem is there's probably about 28 teams in this league that are better than us. So all the other teams suck and do everything wrong. And if we would have had this happen, we would have won. We would have won this game, man. If the sun didn't come out and that one blade on the AstroTurf didn't stick up high enough and someone tripped over it, we would have won the game. We were hosed. The Giant fan has the biggest chip on their shoulder about everyone's against them, and we're always hosed. I've noticed it the last 14 years. Viper! We have found the dumbest fan base leadership in football. Maverick, do you have Maverick? Maverick has the ball. Oh, James Williams, of course. We did the Top Gun call signs for online Big Blue participants. So I'm Viper because I'm the spiky hair old guy. James is Sundown. Strider is Slider, and T Brad's Black Ice Man. So I like having that say sewer. It's Black Ice Man. Oh. I always told James that we were going to. I was talking to James on Sunday, and I haven't talked to him yet. I was gonna call you today, James. I actually called the airfield. There, we have a military museum / airfield right down the road from our house, and I want to recreate the scene where Sundown is yelling at Maverick that we could have had him, and we're gonna reverse it though. James is gonna be Maverick, and I'm gonna be Sun Up. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I actually called the airfield. They said we could do it. Stanley says we're not even better than the Cowboys. We're not, but that's okay. That's Strider. That's all right. Gino said, "What's up, Gino? Tim, what do you think about it? Makes sense for the Giants in the draft? Trade back and take an offensive lineman. That's it. Trade back and take an offensive lineman. Mr. Love, yo, Tim, Russell Wilson is a better upgrade than Daniel Jones because Russell can struggle in Pittsburgh. Russell's just struggling in Pittsburgh because he couldn't change the play calling at the line of scrimmage. But that's the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing that we talked about. I did a list of reasons why Russell Wilson is not going to perform well here. And one of the things on my list is he's going to struggle with the offensive scheme because he has a difficulty adjusting to new offensive systems. Look at the Nathaniel Hackett issue in Denver. Look at the Sean Payton failed system also in 2023. He struggles in structured, quick read offenses. He can't freelance. And that's the problem. He can't freelance, and that's going to be his issue. And the problem was with your declining athleticism and his inability and his mobility in the pocket, and the fact that people say now that he holds onto the ball way too long. He's actually slowed down in his decision-making processes. And then, like I said, you also mix in. I don't think he's ever fully recovered from that hand injury and that finger injury in 2021, which has impacted his throwing mechanics and his grip. It's just, again, we are making excuses why he went 2-6 in Pittsburgh instead of looking at the actual factors of his natural ability may have been in decline because he only completed 63% of his passes in a league where some of the quarterbacks complete 70-75% of their passes. A rookie, I believe in Jayden Daniels, completed 70% of his passes. Travis Hunter on this team is not going to have a major impact on this team as it's constructed. I believe that, James. Damian Lovechild says Travis Hunter is the real deal. He could have matched up with any wide receiver in the NFL because he's got the elite speed and covering ability. I've said it before. I think Travis Hunter is a corner. He's got there was a couple guys that burned him in college, though. Let's remember that. But I do think his best position is corner. But then why do you get a Debo, and why did you draft Tay Banks 3 years ago? And also Drew Phillips and Tyler Nubin. And you just signed Holland and a Debo. 4 wins, I'd be shocked. Thomas says, I hope we win 2 games at most. People still think Travis Hunter is going to be the number 2-way. He's not going to be the 2-way guy. Like I said, we had 2-way players back in the 50s because you only had 33 men on the roster, and it wasn't until 1964 when we had 38. So that's why guys play 2 ways back in the day.
That's what she said.
Oh, I will put up a nickel I found on the floor. I'm married this year, so I can't put too much for it down. I'll spot you. Mr. Alvarez says, don't forget, guys, Joe Shane loves his $10 million in operational cap space, which he stole from me. Come on. Can we all admit and just say it now? Joe Shane literally stole the phrase operational cap space from this show. Because how many times have we been saying that? How many times have we said that all of a sudden Joe Shane comes out one day and talks about operational cap space? Can we just say it? Normally I don't call things out, but hit the like button. Can we just say it? Make a smart decision in the draft. Don't leave us with our jaws dropping, looking confused like 19. I asked that question. What would be more shocking? Daniel Jones at 6 at 19 or Jackson Dart at 3 in 2025? I still think Dart. Mr. Saz says the Giants absolutely personify Jim Morris playoffs. You talk about playoffs? We do. Because does anyone look at the schedule besides me? I mean, seriously, did anyone, like I said, we just went through the schedule. So, okay, so let's think let's think just for a moment that you think we're taking a game against Dallas. That's 1 win. And let's say you think you can beat the Raiders. That's 2 wins. Let's say you can beat the Saints. That's 3 wins. So you're probably going to need at least 9 to 10 wins. So out of those 3 wins, where are the other 7 coming from so you can...
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Tim, here's the thing of Russell Wilson. He'll win unexpected games and lose the easy ones. Maddening, Tim. It's maddening. It's always maddening. Damien loves it. Russell Wilson will do something that Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Jalen Hyatt and Darius Slays, unlike Pittsburgh, when he only had Pickens. First of all, Wan'Dale Robinson is not good. Let's just be honest. Can we just be honest? Jalen Hyatt hasn't done anything in years. And Darius Slayton's been dropping. I've had the year for 3 years now about all the major drops he has had. But for some unknown godly reason, that goes away when we give him $36 million. And all of a sudden, he's good again. Damien, get one thing straight. Wan'Dale, dude, can't stretch the field. He's an eighth. Yeah, he's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. The moment we drafted Wan'Dale Robinson, the first thing I said is, if you're getting pulled down from behind in Kentucky, how are you going to create separation in the NFL? He was targeted 100-something times. What, averaged 5 yards a catch? Dude has a small catch radius. Eric, what's up, Big Eric? Joe Shane was the guy who got sent to the real executive. That was Joe Shane's job in Buffalo. I always make this joke. Buffalo is on the clock getting ready to take Josh Allen. And the general manager looks at Joe Shane in Buffalo and says, hey, I need a latte. Can I get a low-fat decaf skinny cow latte? And can you go get that now? And they're like, quick, we got him out of the room. Let's take Josh Allen. And I love it because the quarterback whisperer in Brian Daboll, Josh Allen won his first MVP without Brian Daboll. Josh Allen seemed to have gotten better without Brian Daboll. And you look at Brian Daboll's track record outside of college and reference to cultivating quarterbacks outside of Josh Allen, you don't really have a track record. But like I said, I think I could be the quarterback whisperer for Josh Allen. Josh, throw a touchdown. Look, he threw a touchdown. I told him to do that. He always gets caught from behind. He does. 28. How about 31? How about 56? Who's Merlin? Tim Robbins. Patrick Graves says, expect the Giants to compete this upcoming season in spite of the schedule. What are they going to compete? Patrick, what are they competing for? I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm being serious. What are they competing for? Outside of the schedule, you think they're going to compete. Okay. So we're going to beat the Eagles twice. We're going to beat Washington. We're going to beat Green Bay. We're going to beat Minnesota. We're going to beat Kansas City, who was in the Super Bowl last year. We're going to beat the Chargers. We're going to beat the 49ers. We're going to beat the Cowboys at home, away, the Eagles away, Washington away, the Bengals in Cincinnati, the Broncos in Mile High, Detroit. You got a shot against the Raiders and maybe the Saints. Ain't no way. I always hear this. I'm not even going to read the rest of the comment. I always hear this. No way, Tim, there's no way the Giants will lose to the Cowboys. And every year. Giants 8-10 wins. 8-10 wins this season. You can yes, actually you can have too many quarterbacks and pass rushers when they don't do anything else. Oh my God. All right. Big Blue for life. Willie left the room. And you are so confident this is an 8-10 win team. I bet Willie $1,000 the Giants don't win 8-10 games. So if you're so confident, let's drop a G and call it a day. And that's at, now we're at 12:08, dropping a G to Big Blue Life forever that the Giants do not win 8-10 games. Mr. Shane thinks he's Howie Roseman when he actually is the guy Howie asked to get his coffee and probably still gets the order wrong. She probably would get the order wrong. Gino says, do you think the Giants should punt on the quarterback in this draft? They're going to punt. They have to punt. Why would you take a quarterback? You have potentially $21 million tied up in Russell Wilson, another 4 to 8 in Jameis Winston, another 2 in the likes of Tommy DeVito, and a $22 million in dead cap space for Daniel Jones. Yeah, you're going to punt. I still want to trade down and get a wide receiver from Arizona. If you're gonna do this, just go. Greg, where's Greg? Not Greg. James, are you working today? You see you posting a lot. If here, Jason, I'm gonna put the link in the chat because I think I talked to James and T-Brad a little bit about Tommy DeVito, not Tommy DeVito, Russell Wilson. But James, I wanted to talk to you in person about it, so I'm gonna put it in the chat there. Tim, I am embarrassed to admit I support Wanda Robinson. 2 years. I'm like, what the fuck? What am I seeing? Tim, there are no Hall of Fame, there are no quarterbacks, even Hall of Fame quarterbacks that you can get 9-10 wins with this team. It's not a talk about the team when they are all going to suck anyway. And it's okay if you're going to suck.
That's what she said.
That's all right. But the problem is this: if you're going to suck, it's if you're just going to be, if you just want to be competitive to get 4 to 5 wins because you think that's going to save your job, and that's what all this is about. Can we just be honest? This is all about Joe Schoen just saving his job. Same thing with Brian Daboll. They're just trying, and honestly, if they win 4 games, hell, they may keep Schoen and do the Gettleman and get rid of Brian Daboll, so we'll have another year of stupidity. It just does. It just literally doesn't make any sense. And I'm sitting here trying to make it make sense. If you would have just stuck with Jameis Winston, I could have lived with that. It would have been stupidity wrapped up in idiocy. But the problem is this: at least you would have drafted a quarterback. You would have brought in a quarterback. But now it's just I don't know, man. Brandon Bean hasn't missed a beat in drafting since Joe Schoen left Buffalo. Greg says, look at our faces when they called Wandale's name on the live stream. Comedy, pure gold, and disbelief. We did the live stream, and when the Giants called Wandale Robinson's name, we had I think like 8 people were on the live stream that day. It was the look on our faces, and I remember talking to Big Dom over in the UK, saying, and if you don't do it, go find the Dominator channel. It's a soccer channel. Domination. Arsenal Domination is Dom's channel. So go find Arsenal Domination and learn something about soccer, because I don't understand what the fuck Dom's talking about. I don't know. He said football. That's what I hear. I'm just joking, Dom. I'm hoping Dom hears this part and puts that on his show. No, there's Merlin for the Giant fans. No Merlin for you. Dan says, I actually got shocked at the signing of Russell and has fans talked off the ledge. Still crazy, though. I'm shocked. Good. 1,000 it is. I'll take that bet. 1,000 it is. G it is. I will literally email me at tim@onlineBigBlue@gmail.com. Tim at onlineBigBlue.com. That's Tim at onlineBigBlue.com. We will set up a Venmo. You want to be serious? We're going to set up a Venmo account, and we'll each put $1,000 in it now. And we'll set it up as an escrow. Because I'm tired of people welching on bets. Because even James Williams had a bet 2 years ago. This guy, we haven't found the guy since. So email me blueforlife at tim@onlineBigBlue.com, tim@onlineBigBlue.com. We will set up an escrow account on Venmo or what the hell it's called, and we will set it up. Works for me. Tim, how passionate would you be if the Giants went on, got a quarterback and started off the season with 3 quarterbacks? If it's Jackson Dart, I would be pissed because it doesn't make any sense. If it's Shedeur Sanders, I'm still pissed, but I'm happy that we'll have a quarterback on the roster that could be here after 2025. But it wouldn't make any sense. Again, it's stupidity wrapped in idiocy. OG says 3 to 5 wins games tops. Did Tim just diss me? No, Greg, I never dissed you. And if I did, it was all out of love. I always love it because the next one is El Gigante. And I always say the same thing. Listen, same thing with Dom. Same thing. I always tell Dom the same thing. If I pick on you unmercilessly, that means I like you. That means I like you. Because I pick on Dom like it's I always laugh because I met Dom through the channel. UK Dom. We met through the channel, and then we talked, he came on, we talked for a year, And then we did the thing where it was where it was take your, I always laugh because I still call it to this day, take your kid brother to the game day. So we had Dom, LJ, and a few other people come and hang out with us for the Giant game. So so you got LJ, you got the Dominator there in the middle, and you got Big El Gigante. And I love it because Dom is there on the sideline there on that fence. There is a rail that's about, I would say, 8 to 12 inches. I would say like 8 to 10 inches off the ground. Dom is standing on that rail. So, also one of my other favorite shots of Dom. Dom coming in strong. He's actually wearing my college shoulder pads, an autographed Phil Simms helmet, and a game worn jersey that a friend of mine gave me. So I love it. So I mean, I pick on Dom. I pick on Dom all the time. I literally pick on that guy all the time. So I always say, if I pick on you that much, I must really like you. So, Big Al Jazz says, it's clear to me Warden Sanders are going to go 1-2. The front office keeps pivoting, making me dizzy. Gives me a headache. Gives me a fucking headache. Okay, you see Russell or Wilson being the mentor to a young quarterback. Going to be honest, I'm 50-50. Said this before. Do you want Russell Wilson mentoring a guy that is not known for being a film guy? Jameis Winston has said it since Florida State. I don't watch a lot of film. He doesn't really study Jameis Winston since he's been here. One of the biggest issues with him in Tampa, in the Saints, was the fact that he doesn't study. And he'd rather have fun, rather have a good time. I'd rather lick my fingers and rub the heads of my teammates on the sideline like he did in 2021. I love it because someone on Twitter goes, well, that's just Bush League bringing up his past. Well, if you did a lot of things in your past that need to be brought up, whose fault? How's that my fault? I didn't do it. And he's like, well, if you've done things in your past. Yeah, but I'm Gen X. So we didn't have a lot of cameras around when we were stupid. So the legends of what we've done have just grown exponentially. I literally got it. I had an arch nemesis for years. I was probably like 22, 23. And it came to a head one night at a bar. And I hit him outside the bar. Hit him once. He went down. We went our separate ways. That was it. But as time has gone by, the legend of that fight has grown. So literally at one point in time, I hit him with the car door, then I hit him with a garbage can, and then I threw him into the middle of the street. Then a couple years later, I literally hit him with the car. I literally picked up a Buick and hit him with it. It just, it was one punch, 15, it was half a second. But it has just gotten more and more, it just imploded more and more every year. But there's no film. There's no video. There's nothing. But Jameis Winston, we got all of it. We got all of it on. We have him stealing the crab legs on tape. And I love it because, well, someone gave it to me, and I just walked out. That's called stealing in like 98% of the states. Betting odds have the Giants to win 4.5 games this season. I can see that. Let's see. Eric says, never forget the Giants remain undefeated in inter-squad drills, even though that might be tough to repeat without Daniel Jones. Some of the best ball play. I still love it for years. First, we had Daniel Jones gain 7 for 3 years. Daniel Jones has gained like 7-10 pounds of muscle. Oh, look at the muscles he's got. Look at those muscles. That's going to make him a better quarterback. Then it was for 2 years. Daniel Jones' ball placement is beyond reproach. Did you see that ball placement against the all-cones team, against the all-shorts team? Oh, it was spectacular. Just too bad it wasn't against the rush or in game action. Tim, you should have seen my face when we drafted DJ. My face literally went dry as I was losing color. I was pissed like I aged. Everyone else was, dude, we got some water. I was like, okay, dude, get some water. Joe Rev says, I didn't welch on a bet. Oh no, Joe Rev, not you. We're not talking about you, Joe Rev. I'm not talking about you, Joe. I'm not talking about Joe Rev at all. There are certain people who have a tendency to welsh on bets. You actually nutted up. I give Joe Rev 100% credit in the freaking world. There's a couple people. Giants, Joe Rev, Giants among men 11. There's a couple other people, Big L. There's a couple other people that man up when they lose. So, Tad, your rooster. Taz is rooster. Let's see here. If we're going off Maverick, does this mean I'm Cyclone of the chat? No, I like your rooster. No, you're rooster. Strider says, Tim, I'm saying it. We need a Giant fan who's Merlin. Who are you gonna do? Merlin, like I said, Merlin's Tim Robbins. Merlin's always gonna be Shawshank Redemption, Tim Robbins. I don't know who in the chat should be Merlin. All the delusional Giant fans that come in and out of this chat, we are just going to put them into a broad bag or broad stroke, and we're going to call them Cougar. Because Cougar's the one that lost it. Cougar was holding on too tight. That's the problem with Cougar. I love it, your rooster. Damon says, yo, Tim, is there a bias hatred towards Sanders because of Deion Sanders? I don't know what the hatred is now with Shedeur Sanders. I've always thought Cam Ward was a better quarterback. But I also don't. Hey, it's fun to stay at the YMCA. YMCA. Are you drinking coffee already?
Already, I'm late on it.
You're late. You're late on it. You're late. You're late on it. You and I chatted with T-Brad a little bit last night. We were on the group chat last night. The group text. Yeah. What do you make of this, James? What you know? I don't know. I don't know if you can talk anyone off the ledge. but what do you make of this?
I can just think it's I guess quarterback security for Shane. If he can't get Ward or Sanders. But like I said in the chat, when we were talking, I have to believe that regardless of what people think or what people are saying, if Sanders is there at 3, you still have to take him. We didn't lose all those games to have Winston and Wilson and DeVito. Like we didn't do all that losing for nothing. Hopefully.
But with all the holes that we have on this roster, and you have $47 million tied up in the quarterback position, can you really take Sanders or Ward at 3?
I think especially if Ward is there, we
saw the pro day. Ward's not going to be.
If Ward is there and Shane passes on him, then I don't think he should ever get a job in the NFL again. But
does he currently have one?
Unfortunately, he does. He's leading the way for us. He's carrying the torch.
I don't know if that's really a job.
He's getting paid.
Yeah,
he's true. Making important decisions that are affecting people's lives.
Hey, listen, I get paid by YouTube. It doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about.
Well, hey, the gift of gab. If you got the gift of gab, baby, you could be a Giants content creator. I hate to say it.
It's just, but the NFL had, the NFL betting line for the Giants was 3.5 wins, and then after the Russell Wilson signing, it was still 3.5 wins.
You got to think about a couple weeks ago, we didn't have a quarterback because DeVito don't count. So in the last week or two, we've added bodies. We've added, people that can go in there and do something. We have.
We've added bodies. I like.
Yeah, we've added bodies.
And I see Mr. Bruce here. He's walking. You're both walking. You're both making me fucking dizzy. What's going on, man?
A lot. Clearly a lot. What's good, Tim? What's good, James?
What's good, brother?
What's good? Tell me, man. Talk the Giant fans off a cliff, Mr. Bruce. Talk us off the cliff.
I'm done with that. Y'all can be at this point. I'm the paranoid MTA rider, so I just move away from the cliff. I'm away from the track. But you know, here's my question to people. People who say like the Russell, like they won the Russell and Russell Wilson's good. Does this make us better than the Cowboys? Maybe. Does this make us better than the Eagles? No. Does it make us better than Washington? No.
No.
So at best, we may win what? Like, what's the best? Like let's say this is like a really, really good season. Best maybe we win 7, 8 games.
Oh, I say 5.
5? Okay.
5.
Jamie, so, I am trying to knock next door to get my packages, and they have them.
Listen,
hold on, Tim.
you tell them
let me come right back.
You bring those fucking boxes over.
Yeah. So all right. So we're going for 5 wins. Where will we draft then at that point? You think we draft like we want to be top 3?
If we had 5 wins, we had 3 wins. We're 3, 5 wins. You figure you could be anywhere between 6 and 10.
Okay.
Depending on the situation, depending on how the rest of the league breaks out.
Right. So it's like in all actuality, what are we really building? And all this money that we could have spent, that we spent on Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, we could have put that together and given it to somebody for a long-term deal. Because we're not going to compete this year. What's the purpose of putting all? And I know what the purpose is, as we all said it. It's because Joe Shea wants to keep his job, but it's like it's not going to work out. It's not working out. So I don't know. This seems like a panic move, and now the frustrating part is now there are expectations on us this year. False expectations, but expectations for us to do actually something good. So,
I was on Twitter this morning, and I was going off the initial reactions from last night. I was going back and taking a look at them, and I was looking at more of the beat writers, some of the other NFL pundits, and I was kind of surprised that there wasn't more of a consensus that this was a good move, that this moves the needle for the Giants. I was kind of shocked that a lot of people are like, I don't see it. A lot of people, and I kind of thought that there was going to be more of a happiness that the Giants got Russell Wilson. But it's weird because, like I said, I go online. There's a couple people here and there, but even I love it because Jordan Ron even came out and said, Giants total wins, league low 3.5 over ESPN bet, still remains 3.5 with the acquisition of Russell Wilson. And you had a couple other people there were like, this doesn't move the needle. You just got a couple other people that are just just saying, hey, listen, it is what it is, but this isn't the move the Giants needed to make. Are you surprised by that? I mean, because some of the fans are just stupid in general, and they're going to believe any move is great. But when you've lost some of the NFL guys, some of the beat writers, I mean, that was a little surprising for me.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the beat writers have been very honest with with the New York Giants, at least when it comes to like ESPN and all those people. They've always been like very true with it. I think that it also comes down to the fact that so when you say beat writers, you're talking about within Giants camp, or you're talking about like
I'm talking it's in Giant camps and sports and NFL beat writers in general.
Yeah, I guess I'd be surprised that New York sports channels are saying that it doesn't move the needle, because if that's the case, if you don't think Russell Wilson moves the needle, what did you think Daniel Jones getting paid $160 million? How did that move the needle back then? Because everyone said that was a great deal then. So it's like
I didn't.
Oh no, but you're the logic of the people. You know we're not involving.
I said I was going to set us back 5 years.
Yeah. So listen. And I agree with you. I don't think now it doesn't make sense to take Shedeur Sanders in the draft. So
you're going to send him a year?
It does. To me, it doesn't make sense. So because of that, do you go Travis Hunter?
Here's my thing with Travis Hunter. You have Malik Neighbors. You have still Wan'Dale Robinson. You just gave Darius Slayton $36 million. So are you going to play him on offense? And then 2 years ago you drafted Tay Banks. Last year you took Phillips, and Newman, and you just signed a Debo and Holland, and you still have Cordell Flott. So you play him at corner? He's not going to be an Isaiah. I'm not saying, like I said, I don't think he's an Isaiah Simmons type bust, but on certain teams like the Giants, I think he could be a bust because I don't think they would give him a true position. I think his best position is defensive back. I think he should be a corner. He can't. Like I said, he can't fucking tackle. He goes. He literally went to the Deion Sanders School of Tackling. He doesn't. Deion. There was never a tackle that Deion just did not want to be involved in the NFL, especially with the 49ers. But where do you play him?
Yeah,
your free agency in some ways, and I love when people, you can never have enough corners and you can never have enough pass rushers. Well, you also can never have enough offensive. You can never have enough offensive linemen. You can never have enough, defensive linemen. You can never have enough linebackers, which we don't have. I mean, it's kind of weird the way their free agency broke. That if if Travis Hunter is your best player on the board at 3, you've done everything the opposite to wanting to bring him in.
Right. Yeah, because even like one thing that everyone talks about, he's like, everyone's like, he's dual, he can play 2 positions. And it's like, as you said earlier, that's cool if you're playing the same side of the field, but you're playing 2 opposite sides. With Debo, he can line up at the slot, you could fake hand it off to him, that he can run around you, and you can, throw the little lob pass. You could do things like that. What trick play can you do with Travis Hunter from cornerback to wide receiver? I don't know one.
I don't know. I don't know one either. I mean, like I said, I thought the best line was with Travis Hunter as the reason we should draft him, especially when we had Jameis Winston, is, he could be a target for Jameis Winston on offense, and he could play defense immediately when Jameis Winston throws an interception. I thought that was like, that's a great fucking idea. He's basically playing 2 ways on the same side of the ball. But I just, and then you take a look at the way, the people like Mason Graham. Okay, well, you have Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence doesn't need a Mason Graham. Dexter Lawrence needs a guy that does the dirty work. He needs a Dalvin Tomlinson. He needs a BJ Hill. He needs he needs a Nacho. He needs an Ashawn Johnson. He needs a guy that does the little things that frees Dexter Lawrence up to do other things. Because the middle of the field is not the problem.
Right.
It's the edge is the problem, because you don't run to the inside anyways because of Dexter Lawrence. So I can't go that way because that doesn't make any sense. I can't go Abdul Carter because I have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, which are carbon copy players. So we're going to bring in a third carbon copy. And as we always say, as you make a copy of something, it gets a little more faded each time. So he was already but he was already an average off the ball linebacker in Penn State that was moved to defensive end for a reason. So do you go Abdul Carter? No, I can't do a dual Carter either because I'm paying $120 to Brian Burns, and I may have a $16.1 million option I got to pick up in year 5 for Kayvon Thibodeau.
And you know what's crazy? In Hard Knocks, I remember when they signed Brian Burns, they were doing all the Spider-Man things, and it looked cool. It looked like, oh shoot, we're in a direction. We're doing something good. But I guess, especially now that you say it like that, and we look at how the draft is coming out, maybe it would have been better to not sign Brian Burns, keep that money, and then take Abdul Carter.
Also don't forget that you still get the draft compensation back that we gave up for Brian Burns.
What did we trade for him again? We traded the first one, a third?
No. We traded a 2, a 5, and a swap of 5s. I believe it was. I can't remember, but it wasn't a first round. We traded a second rounder, and then we swapped 5s, and I think we gave an additional 5. But you have 2 guys that do the same thing, and you're going to bring in Abdul Carter to do to be the third guy to do the same thing.
Yeah. That definitely would not make sense. So you think we should trade back is what you think the best?
I've already said that I would trade back into 2026 because this is just not a great draft. This is not, outside of the top maybe 8 to 10 guys. This is one of these drafts that come around every couple of years where you have those big names, and then you have good players after that. I mean, do you go with the kid from Boise State? Because you need a running back. Do you go with the big tackle out of Missouri? I mean, hell, Tyler Warren. You could trade back. You need a tight end. Do you go get Tyler Warren? You're not going to go Will Johnson out of Michigan. I mean, do you trade back for like a Kevin Banks, the offensive tackle out of Texas? I mean, what do you do? I mean, like I said, this is just such a weird. Our free agency, what it's done for our draft is just, it's just made everything
more difficult.
More difficult. Yeah. Honey, wait a minute. Hold on. Honey Pot.
Yo.
Honey Pot, man, where have you been?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Same place the Giants been.
Hell?
In the
Purgatory?
What'd you say?
It was so funny. We were actually talking about you the other day on one of the streams.
Yeah.
Because I forgot who said it, and they're like, we were like, where's that guy that's always in the back of his car in his driveway? I was like, Honey Pot? I don't know, man. I was like, I haven't seen Honey Pot in a long time.
Hey, oh man, I'm so invested, man. It's like I wish I didn't care. I honestly wish I didn't care. You know?
Right.
Like people, it's a joke. Like people think, I don't know anybody who I can call to talk shit with if we win or lose. It's purely internal. If the game is on, I can't explain it. It's just I got to turn my head and look at it. Like I need to know what they're doing and what they're doing right now. Like right now, I'm just in limbo. I don't know. I mean, we really got Russell Wilson, and I mean, we could have had him last year, but now we want. It's like I don't.
We could have had Russell Wilson 2 years ago. We could have traded for him.
Do you think
we looked into trading for him?
Did we? When was this?
Yes. We looked into trading for him when he was in Seattle, when he was getting moved out of Seattle.
Yeah. No, I'm saying this draft. You still think we'll take a quarterback? You think so?
No, I don't think we take him in the first round.
No. I'm with any plan because the normal shit we've been doing isn't working. So if we're gonna try this, hit on a second or fourth rounder kind of thing. I like the main thing I like about football is the draft. Like the draft is cool as hell. Like, if you could get a third rounder and Victor Cruz, oh my god, it's such a huge deal. He's an undrafted free agent. He's our guy. I'd like Travis Hunter. Okay, I remember watching this man in the Guardian caps playing those little 7-on-7. A couple years ago on YouTube, I remember watching that and him just looking different from everybody. And I was like, damn, I mean, we can't get him, but it'd be crazy if we could get him. We might be able to get a sure pick. I mean, you're not going to suck at two positions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be.
You can't screw up 5 and 7.
Yeah, you can't screw up 5 and 7 either. So
fucking screwed up 5 and 7, man.
You can't screw that up, man. According to Joe Shea. But here's my thing about Travis Hunter, though. Here's my question to you. Where do you play him? You already picked up. You have Malik Neighbors. You still have Wando Robinson. You also picked up the $36 million on Darius Slayton. You also just signed a big contract to Debo. You also just brought in Holland. You drafted Tay Banks not more than 2 years ago. You picked up Drew Phillips and Tyler Nubin, and you still have Cordell Flott. So where are you playing Travis Hunter? Because with his size in the NFL and his sleight of build, I don't see him playing two ways.
No. We need to stop saying that shit too. I mean, these Hall of Famers are telling him, oh man, he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Which is irrelevant. He's not going to do it. It's just more.
No, he's not going to do it. You got to pick a position with the kid because he's just not. I mean, he's just not astute enough to be big enough, I should say, to go 20 plays on each side of the ball.
And the bank account's going to say corner, and that's where he's going to go.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying corner since the day people talked about drafting him.
You're too dependent on other people at wide receiver to get that money. You know, corner, you can let that speak for itself. But that would be huge. If we get Travis Hunter at third, that's a steal. That's a fucking steal.
I have a question. Do you think Travis Hunter will be effective as a corner on the Giants?
Yeah, of course.
Well, here's where I think where Mr. Bruce is going with that. Shane Bowen's system is not predicated on press cover corners, man-to-man corners. They don't excel in the system. That's why Tay Banks dropped off as much as he did, along with bad safety play. So you're going to ask a guy that's going to be that is a man-to-man press cover type corner in Travis Hunter to play Shane Bowen's weird bend not break zone style defense.
Bring your beer for me. I'm taking it like 3-4 years. Coming out to be something, man. I mean, we had what draft is that? That whole draft class is gone now. I mean, wasted a whole draft. You have nobody.
Yeah, there's that was the Will Hernandez draft. Also, that was going back. That was the O'Shane Zimenez, Will Hernandez, B.J. Hill, Lorenzo Carter. I can't remember the other names off the top of my head.
Will Hernandez. Who did we? No, that was what? Who did we take? Who was the pick right before or right after him?
B.J. Hill.
Yeah, B.J. Hill. Yeah.
And we traded B.J. Hill to the Bengals for Billy Price, literally the worst center rated in the NFL that year.
I think they know the Browns are going to take Shador.
Well, the Browns are now saying they are open to trade too.
It's a funky draft right here. I mean, I would like Shador. I wouldn't be mad at Shador. You know, they follow him. He's a leader. I mean, this kid from college had grown men doing what he's doing. You know, in the NFL too. In the NFL, you know, basketball's a little different. You know what I'm saying? The NFL, you had NFL players doing this. Like, that's huge. He can command a locker room. I wouldn't be mad at him. I wouldn't be mad at Travis. I don't want this Carter. I don't want this just because Michael Parsons hit on it. Whoa, we're still out on Micah. I'm not a big fan of him, but he, you know, just because he's 11, 10, I don't want to take him because of that. I wouldn't be mad about trading back either. Trade back. That's never killed anybody. And I've never heard anybody dying for the trade back.
Do you remember the draft that we traded back and we could either trade up for Devontae Smith or Parsons?
my God!
We traded back not to get Parsons.
That was an inside job, no?
Yeah.
And then we ended up with Kadarius Toney. Yeah, trading back did hurt somebody.
He set us up for that.
But the Cowboys and the Eagles, fuck them, because that was I would never forget. I was watching that and I'm like, and because the Cowboys were drafting that the next pick, and I was like, wait a minute, the Cowboys just got CeeDee Lamb. They're not going to take a wide receiver. Holy shit, we're going to get Devontae Smith. Like that's literally how my logic went. I was like, yo, they're going to get him. We're going to get him. But I just see it turn green. I was like, no.
Well, I thought we were going to get Parsons, and then we made that wonderful trade.
Oh, he was available.
Parsons was available.
Yeah, we traded back.
We traded back to get the one. We traded back with Chicago and then ended up with the wonderful Kadarius Toney.
A bum. It's real. It's tough right now, but I do like that they went and got because say what you want, Jameis Winston would have beat out whatever we had going on last year, and old Russ. You're going to see some quarterback play now. At least we won't sit here and be crying, about this and that.
The flight 1447 has just come back from Cleveland.
My fault.
No, I love it. Feel like I'm at Shea. Feel like I'm at the old Shea Stadium.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Wait, it's just I don't know. This draft is a funky one.
I've said it before. I've been saying it now since the end of the season. This is going to be a weird draft. There's maybe top 10 talent in the first 10 picks, and then after that, you're looking at maybe some starters and backups after. Yeah. Who's calling who now?
My neighbor's calling me. I don't know what the hell he is. But hey, this might be the draft that turns it around too. We're saying it's a funky one. This might be the one that turns it around. You know? Oh,
in what direction?
Hey,
I was about to say.
Kyle, my man from Syracuse.
McCord?
I like Kyle. I forgot his last name. Kyle
McCord.
From Syracuse?
Kyle McCord.
Yeah, Kyle McCord. I like him.
I like Kyle McCord too. I thought he had the best combine of quarterbacks over those two groups. Big kid, surgical from 15 to 30. He's got the arm. You know, he had the big win against Miami. And another guy that commands the pocket, does not have limited mobility, but he is your prototypical pro style passer. Good mechanics, good footwork. You know, he's like I said, if you grab someone like Kyle McCord 4th or 5th round, I'm not going to complain. You take a Jackson Dart like 3 or in the 2nd round, then I'm going to complain.
I think who was the last quarterback I think we drafted? Was it Davis Webb? Who was
Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones was the last quarterback we drafted. Davis Webb, you forgot Daniel Jones was the last quarterback we drafted.
Number 6 overall,
I love that, but that's great. I love that if you forgot that.
I know, right?
I want to forget that too.
No.
We took a running back at 19, right?
Yeah. No. I mean like a like not a big deal one.
I think Davis Webb. Davis Webb was
no. It was Davis Webb, right?
It was Davis Webb. Or was it Davis Webb or was it Kyle Lauletta?
Oh no, I think it was Kyle Lauletta. You're right.
Kyle Lauletta, the Richmond Spider.
Yeah. But that was like a damn. His uncle must have got pictures of John Mayer or something, because that you knew that wasn't nothing that was about to. No. But we don't take punters. We don't take kickers. It's like, well, and then I don't know, but John Michael, the center, man, he's fucking me up, man. I thought that was gonna be good, yo. I thought that was gonna be good. 2nd round. God,
the Jets screwed us on that one because I did a video about it even before that Joe Tippmann should have been the guy.
Yeah.
And now Joe Tippmann looks like he's going to be an all-pro with the Jets.
Yeah.
Looks like they got another Nick Mangold on their hands. Well, we have JMS.
Yeah. Should have took John fucking Michael. Smart motherfucker.
I think we need to, and I will sign this petition if you start this. I think we need to start the petition to have you on the Giants scouting team.
Yeah, you don't need that. we don't need that. Listen, you don't want to go from bad to even worse.
Hey, and then the damn these two idiots talking about John Michael, during the draft thing when they were recording that. Hold on, I'm gonna say something about this fucking Hard Knock shit. That was mind-boggling. I'm talking about before that, when they were talking pre-draft talk. And they're like, we're gonna start in fucking center. We're gonna fucking start wide receiver. Like, no, you didn't get either one, you fucking idiot. Like, that was they were really debating whether to take Jalen fucking Hyatt. This motherfucker. Somebody drafted him and then fired him. Like, no, motherfucker, you're still an NFL player. Like, pick your fucking head up. Like, I understand, but you're out there too, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're out there too. Like, so calm the fuck. I went to the Atlanta game. Evan Neal's stupid ass. He's the first one out there. He's walking around the field, right? He's big as fuck too.
Oh,
Let me tell you, he's massive. Like, he's walking around the game. He just looks fucking stupid. Like, and then up the other team. Like, he's talking. I'm not mad about that, but because there were some people in suits kind of let me and my son in, like a group of people. So we went in like 4 hours early before the game. That's a nice stadium too, Atlanta. Mercedes-Benz. That's a nice stadium. And I'm just looking at them, and I see Jalen Hyde, stupid ass. I don't know, I just kept seeing him shaking his head, and like he's doing the band shit. It was weird. I don't like him, man. It's like a player that you only know him from that 1-5 touchdown game from Alabama. I mean, that's all he has to his fucking name and some hair. Like, that's all he has to his fucking name. I don't like him. Over with. I know you're not a big Wandell fan, I like that little fucker. I like him. That bastard. I seen him, man. I seen him. They're always trying to take his block off, yo. And he always seems to pop up, okay? He's a dog now. He's out there fighting. And Malik stuck up for him, too. He said he liked Wandell. I like Wandell, though. I do like Wandell. The slate, the Hard Knocks thing. Something's up for that? Who the fuck signs? Who watches that and is like, yeah, send that up there. Send that.
The Giants. The Giants.
We got Saquon shit, and then John Mayer want to say, oh, if he could have put me in the video, the commercial. Are you a fucking idiot? They're making fun of you. Like they're making fun of you. Like they don't. I'm not saying they don't take it serious, but it's like shit like that. Like he's making fun of you. Saquon did keep it classy too. He spared us the last game.
Oh, he did.
He spared us.
You gotta give him the fact that he didn't break the all-time NFL rushing. Well, he did break the all-time season record though.
He spared us the game he played us. He spared us. You know,
yeah.
you see he felt bad. He knew what's going on in there, and he didn't want to kick us while we were down because he could have just kept fucking going.
He spared us twice. He spared us in the first game by getting the most amount of yards in a single game, and then he spared us the last game by not going for the NFL record.
He did. I am a little mad he went to the fucking Eagles. I don't care what anybody says. It's just I'm not gonna keep rolling with my boys to school. We're getting jumped by these motherfuckers. We're fighting them every day. You know, but Tony can't fight, Billy can't fight, but I fuck with them. Now these niggas are like, yo, Carl, you the main one kind of getting it in every time we beat their ass. You want to start beating their ass with us? No, I'm gonna fucking swing on them right then and there. I'm gonna fucking swing like, no, bitch, get it in now. Even though they're not here, I didn't like it. I don't give a fuck. He could have went anywhere. He had to go there. They've been fucking you because you are a part of. Okay, when he did the QB sneak, when Joe Judge called that QB sneak, Saquon was on the field. I don't care what anybody says. He was on the field. Was he not, Tim? He could have caught a dive. He could have pulled a dive.
Yeah.
Screen. I don't give a fuck. Oh, thinking of safety, he gets paid to get hit. Let him get hit. He gets paid to get hit. He was on the field for that play.
I got a question for you.
I'm not. He should have left. He should have fucking left. Okay. I'm gonna leave Tony and Billy at some point. I'm not gonna be with them for the rest of my life. But I'm not going with these motherfuckers though. I'm not going with them. No, hell no.
Now I got a question for you. What if Tony and Billy look at you and say, I don't think you have any worth to me, and the niggas that just jumped you like, yo, you could be our superstar. You could be our MVP.
You don't know. Tony and Billy don't know what they're talking about. That's why I'm.
we got to drop Big Blue for life in here. We got a bet going on with him, so I gotta drop him as well because I gotta get out of here in a few minutes.
I've been know this since middle school. I know they were.
Wait a minute, honey pie. We gotta drop another person in here real quick. Oh, now I got my phone fucking ringing.
What's up, Tim?
What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Man, everything's everything at the laundromat.
At the laundromat, that's the worst place in the world to go.
Don't I sound excited?
I think I would never was excited. I used to go to laundromat all the time. Then someone told me, you could just have them wash the clothes for you. You go to the dry cleaners and they'll wash it for you. I'm like, that's the greatest thing ever, man. You just give them the bag, comes back with another bag. So what's going on?
Oh man, nothing much. Want to talk some Giants. What's up, fellas?
What's good, my brother?
We got Big Blue for life here, sitting here, coming in strong. He's been in the chat. Him and I got a bet going on here. You got my email.
8 to 10 wins, Tim.
8 to 10. I got
8 to 10 wins.
Yeah, I said that.
He's. You know what? I got to give him credit. He's man enough to come on and say 8 to 10 wins.
I said that. Hey, listen, we got to have some type of contrast. Everybody is like, the 3 to 4 wins, 5 wins, whatever. I believe we can win 8 to 10 wins, barring that Wilson stays healthy. And I think we can. What's that?
You made that before. You made that bet before or after we signed Russell?
No, once we signed Russell, I wasn't gonna make that bet with Jameis Winston. Once we signed Russell, I think we can win 8 to 10 games, man. I really do.
All right. But I got a question for you at the home games. Okay. Are you beating Philadelphia at home?
So I think we split with Philadelphia.
Okay, but wait a minute. What about
I
Washington?
think we split with Washington.
Okay, are you beating Green Bay
I think we sweep Dallas.
Are you beating Green
No.
Bay at home? Are you beating
No, you're not
are you beating Minnesota at home?
Green Bay and Minnesota, that's 2 L's.
Wait,
Time out. Wait now, hold on. Time out. We can't beat Minnesota. If you got JJ starting, I know it's his second year, but it's his first time. It's his first start as an NFL player. What week is that? They didn't put the weeks out yet.
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
We don't full schedule on. So
that's a possible win.
Okay.
If you got JJ starting, that's a possible win.
Let's go through the wins first. Are you beating Kansas City at home?
Absolutely not.
Are you beating the Chargers at home?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Are you beating the 49ers at home?
Yes, they're decimated. They got rid of the whole team.
They're decimated last year.
They're decimated. Tim, have you been watching free? I know you've been watching free agency.
Wait, are you beating Dallas in Dallas?
We're sweeping Dallas.
Okay, that's right. So, and you're splitting with Philadelphia. Are you beating the Bears in Chicago?
Shit, yeah.
Are you beating the Broncos in Denver?
That's a revenge game for us right there, buddy. I'm up in the air on that one, but I'll take that W.
Are you beating the Lions in Detroit?
No.
Are you beating the Raiders in Vegas?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Are you beating the Saints in New Orleans?
I'll take that too.
Are you beating the Patriots in New England?
Yeah.
Woo. I don't think so.
10 wins. I must be winning.
Yeah.
I only have 7 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 7 wins.
I'll still put us in for 8.
Yeah, he said 8 to 10. I might be with you on that.
I like the chances.
I'm only counting 7 right now.
I still say 8 to 10
games.
I like that.
I still say 8 to 10 wins, Tim.
All right. Listen, man. You know what? You got your conviction. I don't. I don't see us beating the Chargers. I don't see us beating the 49ers. I don't see us beating the Vikings. I don't see us beating. I mean, I say we could beat the Raiders, the Saints. I don't see I think New England's going to be a lot. New England, I think, had more issues with Gerard Mayo as their coach than anything else. And then I see us maybe winning the Dallas game at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I always have to say that because last time I said we were going to win the Dallas game at home, we lost by 40.
We almost won that last game at home last year. I was at that game.
Well, you remember that first game of the season? They beat the shit out of us. What was that, last year?
Yes, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I was in the rain with Big El Gigante because we did the and it was Queen Latifah did the opening, did the Star Spangled Banner because we were on the field for the flag ceremony and we were all pumped up and everyone was hyped and was all excited. And I remember when it was 28-3 and I said to Big L, I think we can come back. And he says, we might lose by 50. And we ended up in the bar like a half hour later.
We could have lost by 50 that game.
You know what's crazy?
That shit made me fine.
You know what's...
I'm not lying. It hurt.
I still think we pick up a QB in the draft. I think if Sanders is there at 3, you take him.
But you're going to sit Sanders for a year?
Why not?
Because you have so many other deficiencies on your roster, and you just spent technically with Daniel Jones' $22 million dead cap number, you just spent $47 million on quarterbacks for this season.
We got about 27 in dead cap right now. And
but we actually have more than that. We have 22 just with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, so I looked it up last night. It was 27. That's 27 so far.
That QB bucket is filling up.
But you have 20. If you look at the quarterback bucket, you have 22 million Daniel Jones cap number. Mm-hmm. You have maybe 13 to 16 in Russell Wilson. You have 4 to 8 in Jameis Winston, and then you have 2 million for our old buddy Top Gun Tommy. So you're almost at 47 million in cap space dedicated to your quarterback room.
Okay.
So you're going to add another quarterback.
Tommy's $1 million. I looked up Tommy last. Tommy's $1 million on the books. They didn't add Winston or Russ as yet. So you're looking at guaranteed for Russ 10.5, Winston 8 over 2 years, so 4 this year.
He's guaranteed 4 this year, but he has incentives.
Yeah, I mean he ain't hitting those incentives.
We don't know what the incentives is. If the incentives is like he doesn't steal crabs, the incentives
no crab legs,
no crab legs, that he doesn't lick his fingers and rub his teammates' heads. There could be a lot of incentives that we don't know about in this deal.
Right.
So we got to look at it that way. I wish we did know what some of these, because we can never get in a true cap number, because we also still need $12 million in cap space for our rookie class. And then, like I said, we don't have the full, because a lot of the contracts aren't officially, I haven't gone to league office yet because of physicals, but we don't have the full number of what the cap hit is actually going to be.
I think you still pick up Shador if he's available. If not, if Ward and Shador goes 1 and 2, then at 3, I would pick up Travis Hunter. I would pass on Abdul Carter. I would pass on Mason Graham. I would go with Hunter. But if Shador's there, you take Shador. That's what I think.
Well, I think everyone's in agreement that we should probably take Hunter. If it falls that way, I just worry that, like we've talked about it before. I mean, I don't think Hunter's going to be a bust in the NFL, but I think on a team like the Giants, who may have a propensity to overuse or try to use him in situations that he might not be capable of doing, that they're going to put more onus and pressure on him, and then he may have not the impact season that people would think he would have on a different team, because the Giants, like I said, where does he fit in the corner room and where does he fit in the wide receiver room?
In the corner room?
Well, you just gave Debo 54. You still have Tay Banks from 2 years ago. You also just drafted Drew Phillips. You still have Cordell Flott. And then you also brought in Holland as a replacement for Pennock. So, and you run a bend not break zone style defense with Shane Bowen, when you have 2 press cover corners in both Travis Hunter and Tay Banks.
What the fuck?
You have Tay Banks who needs to step his game up. I think Travis Hunter can come in and push Tay Banks. Debo was coming off that fibula, that broken fibula, right? That injury. He may not be 100% right away.
Oh, we talked about that, yeah.
So for me, it's a no-brainer. If Travis is there, you take Travis and you play him at corner. You put him 10 to 15 snaps per game at wideout, if need be. Because who's in our wideout room besides Malik Neighbors?
You just gave $36 million to Darius Slayton, and you have Wandale Robinson.
We ain't doing that.
Mighty Mouse.
Man,
you better watch it. Honey Pot likes him.
You don't like
him, Honey Pot?
Honey Pot likes Wandale. He likes Wandale.
Man, 140 receptions, 500 yards. What the hell? What's going on? What's going on?
He had 93 receptions for 700 yards last year and 3 touchdowns.
He had 700 last year?
Yeah. He averaged 6 or 7 yards a reception, but he had 93 receptions.
That was those checkdowns.
Yep, that's all. He's 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
So those are bad ball placements. Those are bad ball placements. But hey, can we all agree though? Can we all agree? Thank God Malik Neighbors. Thank God he picked Malik.
Oh yeah. let's just hope that Malik Neighbors can find a little bit of yak. Because let's all be honest. Outside of the last 3 weeks of the season, there was no yards after the catch from Malik, which was very surprising to me, because I thought that was going to be his strong suit.
He gave up.
You have a different quarterback now, like he just said. We just said ball placement. I think Russell put the ball where it needs to be, throw with anticipation, and throw him open. I think Wandella's going to have a better season under Russ as well too. Slayton got to just hold on to the ball.
Yeah. You gave him $36 million. He better hold on to the ball at least once or twice.
Yeah.
I like when they do stuff like that too, because it shows you will get some money. I like Slayton. Slayton's a giant, man. I like Slayton. He's a real giant. I like Slayton. You don't hear no shit about him. Okay, he dropped those shits, but I'm not slighting DJ either. Remember when this nigga falled against Philadelphia? That was like And that was during the time when they were shit talking DJ, and it's like, oh, you don't know if he. Then he did that shit, and I was like, yo, he really fell.
I'm glad he's off the team, man. That's how I feel about that. I think that you need to draft the best player available if the quarterbacks are gone, and Travis Hunter is a generational talent. And you have to be in a situation where you're drafting the best player available and not necessarily drafting for need. So we'll see what happens. We'll know for sure once the roster's filled out.
We'll take Travis. We'll do the smart thing, just like Neighbors. We took Neighbors. That was smart. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't have taken Neighbors. I'd have left Neighbors right there.
I was gonna say, you know what? I wouldn't have taken Neighbors either, but you know, you can't come on, man, we can't with the results.
But Tim, at 6, I would have taken Michael Penix Jr. Right?
Yeah.
Then I would move back. I wouldn't have to move out the second round. You can grab Lad McConkey in the second round. Brian Thomas went at the bottom of the first. If you wanted to, you could move back into the bottom of the first and grab another a wide receiver. That draft was loaded with receivers and quarterbacks, and we wouldn't have this problem right now. You think about it, right? In my opinion, I believe Thompson had a better season than Neighbors.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you and I have talked about it before. I mean, I think the same. I think the same thing. I think we could have gotten Brian Thomas Jr. I think, I think if you take a look, and people will say, well, Brian Thomas Jr. had, he had Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had a terrible year. And the rest of the time he had Mac Jones.
He's 5 times better than fucking Daniel Jones, though. I mean,
actually statistically, Trevor Lawrence statistically actually had a worse year than Daniel Jones.
He was on a better team. Malik Neighbors is fucking good.
Jacksonville actually had a bad team.
I'm taking Malik Neighbors again. I'm taking anything at LSU. That shit's gonna pan out. It might get a little murky. If we don't keep winning, it's gonna get real fucking murky. He's gonna get on this Jamar Chase shit because that's where he's gonna lose me. He's gonna be like Jamar Chase, and it's like, slow down, buddy.
I got a question for you.
Different.
I got a question for you. So if you could redraft, you would take Neighbors over Penix Jr. Is what you're saying?
Right, yeah. So we're sold on Penix. I mean, he did a little bit. I watched him in Atlanta that one game. I mean, they almost fucking lost. But who knows? Maybe in 5 years we should have taken Jayden Daniels or I don't know. I like Neighbors. I like him. I think he's a dog. He is a dog. I mean, he's gonna talk that shit. He's gonna try to walk the walk. I mean, the first couple games he was doing his thing, but I feel like he has that side to him that Jamar, where he thinks he's Jamar Chase and he can just fucking shut down and just take it off a little bit. That yak will come. You've seen the yak at LSU. This LSU, that's what you're gonna get from this quarterback. It's that.
I think Neighbors is a good player, but there's no way I pass on a QB. I mean,
what? Don't say Jacob McCarthy. We ain't even seen him stood up.
I wasn't gonna say McCarthy. The example I was gonna give you was what's the kid in Denver, Tim?
Penix, not Penix. Nix, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. He went into the right system with Sean Payton, and took him to the playoffs. Right?
Yeah.
I think we should have drafted Penix, but I mean, it is what it is. We have Neighbors. I'm not complaining. He's a great player. You got to get him somebody who can get him the ball, and let's hopefully we get somebody.
Tony situation, I'd be a little bit more pissed. Like, we traded back. We could have had this, but the quarterback, I think we're due for one. I think we're due for one. I think we might get a little little Syracuse action going, and he might hit. We might hit on it.
Who's that? Kyle who?
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord. Yeah,
so you guys would go with Kyle McCord over Shedeur Sanders?
No.
I know. I'm just saying, if we go Travis Hunter.
He's saying if we go Travis Hunter, take Kyle McCord later. Take Kyle McCord later on the draft.
So Tim, you're not gonna like this one, honey. Okay. You're not gonna like this one.
I'm not gonna like it, man. I'm not gonna like it. What? Come on.
I'm gonna tell you. If we take Travis Hunter, I'll go with Jaylen Milroe.
Oh, I like Jayden Milroe. I like Jaylen Milroe a lot.
I saw that he improved at his pro day. Of course, I know the pro days are scripted. I think the problem with Milroe and his accuracy is because of his hand size. But we have the quarterback whisperer as a head coach. You get Milroe in there, and you sit him for a whole season, and you develop him. He has to sit. Just think about the upside.
Lester, you didn't hear that? His hand got bigger.
It grew.
It grew from the combine to the pro day. You didn't know this?
Trying to call him like, how the hell did you do that?
Listen,
somehow
the
his
kid
hand got like an inch bigger.
If this guy can be 75% of what Lamar Jackson is, we'll be all right.
I said it before. I think outside of Kyle McCord at the combine, Jaylen Milroe had the best day. You can tell he's been working on his mechanics. You can tell that he's been working on his throwing motion, his footwork. And I even said that if you watch from his last game in college to the combine to his pro day, he has truly been diligently working on the things that are going to make him better and improve his accuracy. We always talk about Jackson Dart had the most yards per completion at 10.6. And I always bring up to people who was third in all of the NCAA last year for yards per completion was Jaylen Milroe.
Hell, that guy that was drafted. What's that guy? All leading passer that one time. Who's the Patriot? They drafted him like the year before. He doesn't even play with him anymore. This
Mac Jones.
No, I know, right? Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
I think Milroe has the best upside out of Cam Ward in that quarterback class. He has a cannon foot on. The guy runs a 4.37, and if he's 75% of what Lamar Jackson is, as far as him developing, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, he had some bad throws. He had some bad throws, but that athleticism and like you saying, if he's half of Lamar Jackson, I'll take it. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I think a lot of people coming out of Louisville, Lamar Jackson didn't get credit as a passer, and I think some people are discrediting Jaylen Milroe right now as a passer. But he did have some bad game in colleges. But to Lester's point, I think he has a higher ceiling. Like I said, I think he's got a higher ceiling than Jackson Dart, but I think he's going to be more of a prospect. But if you're going to sit him for a year behind Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, it makes sense.
It makes sense. You sit him. Jackson Dart, I can't trust the quarterback coming out of the Lane Kiffin offense. I just can't do it.
Jackson Dart bum ass. That's over with. That man, we're not drafting Jackson Dart.
So, guys, I got to get ready to run. So it was a pleasure, Tim.
Hey man, you gotta call me or text me more, man. I don't get to talk to you.
I'll do that, honey. Pops, a pleasure making your acquaintance, brother.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
All right,
man.
All right, peace.
Be safe out there, especially if you're driving again.
We're fragile right now, Tim. We're real fragile. We just got out this horrible dating bar scene and shit. We need to just go to the 4th round, get us a little skeezer, and next scene, she in the gym. She's taking showers. She's doing her hair. Now she's looking like something.
Now she's looking good. That's what we got to do. You're right. You are not wrong. All right, listen, man. I got to run out because I'm actually late. I was supposed to be off at 1. But I got to run out, my friend. Hey, listen. I appreciate you coming on and staying on for a while, man. Next time we're in the chat, make sure you jump on.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, my friend. I'll talk to you later.
Yes.
All right, guys. It is late. We got to get out of here. I was supposed to get out of here at 1 o'clock. I got to get out of here now. And I want to thank everyone for coming on. I want to thank Big Blue for life coming on, also known as Swing Culture. I also want to thank James for coming on for a minute. I want to thank Jabari for coming on. I want to thank Honey Pie for coming on. Haven't seen him in a while. Oh, it's gonna be a fun time of year. Make sure you hit the like button on the way. I want to thank all the people that have been hanging out on X and hanging out on the YouTuber sphere. And as always, this is Tim's New York Giants Talk. Hi, everybody online, Big Blue LLC. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Video tomorrow, and you know what? I'm out of here. Peace.